Good morning, fabulous Art One people. Happy Friday. It's a little gloomy and cold out. Hopefully the sun comes out this weekend. As promised, here is the video for your still life. By now, you should be an expert at using your pencils for creating value. So for this project, you need the photograph. You have this on your iPad. You all have your own original compositions from your photography. And if you didn't take a picture of it, you can use mine. I've uploaded the picture on Google Classroom. It's good to have a pencil sharpener handy, and you just need a regular number 2 pencil. Do not do this with pen, find a pencil. If you can't find a regular number 2 pencil, one of these little mechanical pencils will do. You can even use a color pencil. You just need one value, and we're creating the illusion of depth by showing a range of values. So understanding the darkest darks and then the lightest lights. So before I even start this, I am going to do some warm-up exercises. I'm going to show you what that looks like. So I'm going to get a piece of paper. If you don't have your sketchbooks at home, you can use a piece of copy paper. You can use a piece of line paper, whatever it is that you have. I'm just going to take this up to my camera post here, and I really just want to get to know the forms that I have. And in doing that, as I've told you guys, I really want you to start thinking about seeing. It's not so much drawing as it is seeing. And this is just a warm-up exercise. I am making a rectangle, which is about the shape, same shape and proportion of the photograph I took. And I'm not going to really think about placement of anything. I'm going to start in the foreground, and I'm just going to start drawing what I see. And I can see that this rectangular form is in the back, and I can see the top, and this sphere is in the front. And then from here is the cone, and then about halfway down is the top of the cube, and then in here is the bottom of the cube. So you can see that I started just really understanding where everything is in space. So I'm going to do it again because I can see, where I might have gone wrong. You want to stay really loose with this, and I like to start with the objects that is in the foreground. And try not to pick up your pencil. Try to really keep your pencil on the paper without lifting up. So you can see, I'm starting to see this negative space in here, how much space is really there, and then where things are lining up. So I'm actually running out of room on my paper here, and I can see where my mistakes are. So if I were to draw a line across the bottom of my sphere, I know based on looking at the photo, let's see if I can get both these in here. I don't know if you can see this both at the same time. I can see that if I drew a line straight across here, there's negative space here. So in my sketch, I drew across here, and I can see that that negative space isn't there. So this cube is definitely higher. So I'm still not seeing this properly. So I'm going to move this over so you can see what I'm doing. So just really want to get to understand where everything is in proportion to each other. And you can see I'm not erasing anything. I'm just going over the lines over and over again. And so maybe this sphere is bigger than I think it is. Okay, so I'm going over the lines until they get darker and darker. I know that this cone, it intersects up here. And if I follow this around, that is up from there, and then it's right about there. So when we draw a still life, we really have to choose one object to draw first, and then all of those other subjects in the composition relate to that. So I know if the height of the sphere, which I drew first, lines up about a quarter of from the top of the cube, then I know where to put the cube. And if I know that it starts about a quarter up from the sphere, I know where to start that. And so you can see how once you start one thing, then all of these other things start to talk to each other. And it's really important to see the negative space in between. So if I look at the top of the rectangle form, it is higher than the cone. And I could also see the top of that, so I know that that top line drops a little bit, and the face of the form is right here. And then this goes back, and I don't see a whole lot of that top. I was drawing a whole lot of top, and so that goes back to there, and step one. Step one is to really learn how to see, really find where your forms are in space as they relate to each other. I could also see in the background there's a horizon line, and that's right here. So if I draw that all the way across, that's here. Horizon line is going to help us understand that these forms are sitting in space, and in this case on a table. There are not a lot of strong cast shadows on my photograph. Some of you may have stronger ones when you photographed your own work. At this point, it's not important. Right now, it's about really understanding the relationship of each of these forms. Really look at that negative space, that space in between the forms, to understand if you have it right. You don't even need to erase anything. So from there, once you get that, next steps is going to be doing thumbnail sketches to really understand what the best cropping of your still life is going to look like. So that'll be the next step. So this is step one: do your sketches, loosen up, really get to know your objects. It's kind of like a sport. If you're going to set out to do soccer, or if you're going to go play lacrosse or baseball or badminton, you're going to limber up a little bit before you go and do it. So consider this that part of the exercise of getting ready. Enjoy the process. You can do this a bunch of times, and stay tuned for the next step.